So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call The Good Life. Today I'm going to be giving you my tips to prepare my allotment and my home garden for winter. So if you've not already subscribed to my channel, you know what I'm going to say. If you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my allotment, my home garden, and from time to time my home kitchen. Now it's really a little bit cold at the moment and a bit messy, so we've been up here doing some jobs and it's definitely getting a little bit more unpleasant, a little bit cold, a little bit icy, and I seem to have got completely covered in mud, so it's definitely getting a little bit tougher, but there's still lots of jobs you can do and they're well worth it, so you can hit the ground running in the spring and get a really bumper crop. Now one of the jobs, if you've not already done it, is to get your garlic, your overwintering garlic and your overwintering onions in the ground. Now I've already got my garlic in my little raised bed there, and I've got my onions in the ground. So that's a job that's well worth doing, especially with your garlic. I find that it fares much better if you get it in before Christmas. And if you've got well drained soil, it can go straight into the ground, and if it's not quite so well drained, if it's a little bit claggy, then start them off in module trays. Something else is weeding and tidying up, which is the grand job I've been doing today. I know it seems really tough to be doing like weeding and tidying up this time of year, but it's far easier and the ground is far softer if you do it now than if you do it in the spring. You will thank yourself completely if you do it now, because it'll make your job a lot easier in the spring. And that leads me on really neatly to mulching and covering the ground. Now there's a whole host of things you can do after you've cleared the ground of obviously weeds and crops that aren't producing anymore. There's a few choices. So I've mulched this part, so we're really lucky, and we get bark clippings and tree chippings already delivered to our allotment. I also have a shredder at home, so if you've got lots of things that you could shred up yourself, it's a really cheap and easy way to cover the ground. I will put a link up on the screen and one in the description for a shredder, because once you've got one, you'll never get rid of it, because it's just really handy thing to have, because not only does it get rid of all those things for you, it mulches it down, and then you can then use it on your garden. The other thing I do is I do ground cover, so I do a mixture of the two, all depending what part of my garden it is. Ground cover, again, really useful thing. I discovered it a couple of years after I had my allotment and I started using it, and it made my life a whole lot easier. I know there are some people out there that like to leave their allotment uncovered for the winter, for the elements to do what they do, but they still do lots of benefit even when you cover it. And my experience of when I've left it uncovered, you can never get it dug and tidied up quick enough for the spring. It's always too dry, there's never enough time. And the good thing about putting ground cover down and mulching is it gives you that little bit of an advantage. So if it starts to warm up quite soon, and the weeds and everything starts to grow that you don't want to grow, that's not going to happen if you put the weed suppressant down. I'm going to put a link up on the screen and also in the description for the one that we use. I do have to say we do make a little bit of money out of it because we've got an Amazon shop, so you can get it anywhere, but if you like getting things off Amazon like I do, the links are there for you to use if you wish to. So another job that's really good to do this time of year, if you're planning on overwintering something that won't stand the elements outside, is moving things into the greenhouse this time of year. I overwintered some chili plants last year and that was really successful. I've seen some people actually digging up lettuces and things like that and popping them into their greenhouses to try and take them through the winter as well. So if you've got anything delicate that you think won't stand the elements and you want to pop it in your greenhouse, now's a really good time to do it. And the other thing to do, which we did the other weekend, was that we cleaned our greenhouse. A really boring job again, but when you've not got so many jobs to do, it's a really good time to do that kind of job. We had a lot of like green moss growing on ours. It was just generally looking a little bit mucky and it really needed a little bit of TLC. So all we do is a warm bowl of water with a little bit of washing up liquid and distilled white vinegar. So very cheap distilled white vinegar, but it really does lift off that dirt and grime. We use white vinegar for a lot of things. Again, it's a really easy thing to get. You can get it in a supermarket, and again we have it in our allotment shop, so if you there's a link up on the screen and also one in the description. It really makes a big difference and it's really looking lovely, pristine and ready for next year. The other job to do this time of year is to look through all your tools, make sure they're all working, if they need sharpening, if they need replacing. It's a really good time to make sure that you're ready for next year. The other thing is to go through your seed box, so you know that I know I'm definitely guilty of this. I go into a garden centre, I see loads of seeds on sale, and I don't know what I've got in my box at home. So it's a really good idea to start to do a little bit of a check of what you've got and where you've got gaps and what you need to get. So when you do see a sale, or if you just want to start ordering your bits ready for the new year, then you know what you need. The other thing, which I've learnt really recently, is obviously it's really good to mulch and put things on your composter like grass and leaves, but if you've got lots of leaves on your grass, you can actually mow your grass and then collect your leaves and your grass at the same time. It breaks up your leaves with your grass, and you can put it straight on the composter, ready for it to mulch down. So that saves you a lot of time and does a job that you need to do, so you don't have to blow it all up and then put it on your you can do two jobs in one, which is absolutely amazing. So one of the other jobs that's well worth doing is just generally taking a wander around your plot and doing a bit of an audit as to what jobs need to be done. Our summer house up here is notoriously always falling apart, so we're always having to add extra bits on and bash bits in, so it's a good time of year to check that everything's all as it should be. If you need to put any more raised beds in, that sort of thing, if anything else is broken or needs fixing, it's a really good time to look at things like that. Something else that I'm going to be doing, which I haven't got around to doing yet, is sorting out my rhubarb here. As you can see, it's all pretty much died down. I just need to give it a little bit of a tidy up, a little bit of a weed, and I need to put some mulch on it. I do have a full video on the rhubarb, so rather than me going on about all the different things that you need to do to your rhubarb this time of year and all the things you can be doing to it, there will be a link up on the screen and one in the description about rhubarb care for this time of year. And that moves me swiftly on to maybe putting some more fruit trees out. So that's another really good job. When lots of other things aren't happening, you can be starting to look at if you need any more fruit trees or any more fruit bushes to go in your garden. It's a really good time to be checking out, you know, magazines and going online and garden centres to see what things you can be planting in this time of year. And if you want an idea of what other things you can be sowing or planting in the month of November, please do watch our video, which is up on the screen and also in the description.